I finally got to watch Elio. I feel like this film was so hard to track down a decent time for it, and I've done a bit of a deep dive, and apparently there's reasons around this kind of like weird release time that Disney Pixar put out. So yeah. Welcome back, or if you are new here, welcome. My name is Katrina and I make bookish content as well as movie reviews here on this channel every week. All of my movie reviews are spoiler free, and I will leave a playlist of my recent reviews linked up above in case you are looking for something to watch this weekend. I will also at some point leave a playlist of Disney movie reviews if Disney Pixar movies are your thing, and I also have some Disney trip content coming your way either before or after this video. It depends when I end up putting it up. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on that one if Disney is your thing. So Elio, it was just never on at a time that I could see. It was either too early or too late, and I did find that whilst school was still on, all of the show times were within school time, so I was never going to be able to go and see it. And then at the weekend, it just never aligned. Like there would be one showing or two showings, and one would be at like 9:30 in the morning and one would be at like 7:45 at night. And it did not work out that I could go and see this film. So finally managed to go and see it week like 2 of the holidays. And I liked it. I thought it was lovely. I like when Disney Pixar does space. So like I was quite a fan of Lightyear. I know it was quite a big flop. But yeah, I like when they do space because I think that they can really go wild with the animation, and so many parts of this one reminded me of when they go into like the dream worlds in the Inside Out movies, and also when you've got the little like character, Tina Fey character in Soul. I can't remember what she's called, but so many parts of that reminded me of parts of this. So if you liked Soul and you liked Inside Out, then you will definitely like this film. I thought it was interesting having a character who is a little bit older, so we've got more into like where Riley is in Inside Out, rather than it being a child like in Up, say. Elio is a little bit older. He's in middle school, I think. And so he's kind of, interestingly, like he's 12, so he's just the next year up from the age of the children I teach. So that was helpful to be able to relate. But I think even if you're not a teacher and you don't know a 12-year-old, then you could still definitely relate. So yeah, so we know from the trailer that Elio wants to be abducted by aliens because he's obsessed with space and he wants to go and see what else is out there, which I think is great. I think it's really nice having that curiosity, and it's obviously doing quite a lot for STEM education as well. And I think that I really like that side of it. I know that Elio's character was changed quite a lot from the original concept of what he was going to be. And so he originally, I think, was still going to be with his parents, but the premise behind Elio's story is that his parents, in classic Disney Pixar movie fashion, are no longer with us at the start of the film, and so he has to be looked after by his aunt. Again, very sort of classic Disney, very classic fairy tale side of things, even though this is a Pixar movie. And so his aunt is actually in the military, and so you've got that side of things as well, and she is on a kind of listening base, and so does hear extraterrestrial activity or not, as the case may be, and does deal with things in outer space. And what I really enjoyed was the fact that this was linked to like real space travel, space exploration, I suppose, because it talks about the Golden Record, which I watched a really interesting documentary on, because a lot of the work around that was done in Colorado. So I watched an interesting documentary at my library in Colorado. This makes me sound really geeky right now, and I am proud of that. And so I was like, oh, I know about that. I watched a documentary on that. And we also have a lot of information around the satellites that were sent out to explore and see what other life was there. So it's very much like based in real life. And then we have Elio like being abducted by the aliens, which again is no spoiler, like that's in the trailer, and kind of the sense of belonging he feels when he's there versus the sense of belonging he has on Earth. And that's the kind of like message behind it of like, you know, where do we feel most comfortable and where do we have that sense of belonging? How can we find that sense of belonging? And then yes, some of the aliens that we encounter are very funny, and there's a lot of kind of slapstick humor there. And then there's your classic kind of like, oh, there's a villain. And it was really nice to have that very simplistic, like, there's a villain and there's a good guy, and then there's the underdog trying to be the hero. And I just think that that's nice. I think we've lost that in quite a lot of films, like taking it back to basics and going, here's this villain there, but is it a villain because he's a misunderstood villain? And I just found it really fun the way they kind of related things to worldly, earthly things as well as alien things, and just the little personalities of the different people that Elio encounters. Not going to go into who or what he encounters or why, because that would be spoilery. But yeah, I really enjoyed that aspect of it. And then there's just, yeah, your kind of classic expectations of a Disney Pixar film. I think it's a shame that they had to, I think, push the release date, and then it ended up having to kind of compete in that market with Lilo and Stitch. And then obviously in terms of Disney films that they had in the cinema at the same time, they obviously had Fantastic Four as well as Elio, as well as Lilo and Stitch. And I think that side of it was a shame because it just got pushed to the bottom because it was the underdog of all of those. And I don't know that it's done that well box office wise, because Disney's been putting their money into promoting these other two films, and kind of that's why I found it so hard to find a cinema that was showing it, and ended up having to see it at 10:30 on a Friday morning just because I wasn't working. But had I been working, I would have really still struggled to find a cinema showing this film. But yeah, in terms of should you pay your cinema going money to go and watch this one, I would, you know, given just one cinema ticket to buy at the cinema, Lilo and Stitch versus Elio, I would buy my cinema ticket for Elio and not Lilo and Stitch. However, I think probably by the time you're seeing this, it's just about time for it to come onto Disney Plus. So should you stream this movie on Disney Plus? Absolutely you should. Should you go and see this film in the cinema if you can still find a showing? Absolutely you should. I think that it had, you know, real heart, your real classic Disney Pixar, and some really interesting characters, a nice message, and a relatable main character. I enjoyed it, and I think that you will too. So, as always, if there is a particular movie you would like me to watch and bring my thoughts to you here next week, let me know in comments. Give this movie, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and make sure you are subscribed and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future movie reviews and Disney content if you are here as a Disney fan. I will be back with another video very soon, so I will see you then. Thanks for watching.